Hello and welcome to another live lesson, AM language, 4 o'clock afternoon lesson with me, Richie. So thank you very much for joining today and welcome to the lesson. If you are watching it live or if you're watching it later, to follow the lesson, please look at the live chat. That is where the information is. So, Arena F, good afternoon and welcome to today's lesson. Thank you for joining. It is a Thursday, and where I am in the world, I would say it's a glorious day. Well, it was a rubbish morning, but a glorious afternoon. To say it's a glorious afternoon is to say it's a really sunny day. It's a nice day. It's nice weather, good weather. Uh, Glorious day. So, I mean, it's a glorious afternoon, should I say? Because the morning wasn't great, but glorious afternoon. The sun is out. It's nice weather. Leondina says, "Hi, Richard. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Leondina. Buono pomeriggio." Yesterday we had a good lesson looking at getting back to basics, making sure that we get the grammar of our sentences correct and that we can link the sentences together nicely. Today is a bit different, but similar at the same time. Today is writing skills. What am I trying to say? Sergio, good afternoon. Obrigado. It's important to know how to complete these sort of activities. Tells you a lot about what is the person trying to say. So yesterday's lesson will help with today's lesson because the idea is a little bit similar, but the way we're going to go about it is different. Sergio says, "Boa tarde, good afternoon." So bo and tarde. Thank you very much. I'm guessing boa is good. Tarde is afternoon, a bit like Spanish. Okay, good. So my Portuguese is excellent. Okay, so is good. Yes, excellent. So guys, yeah, that's what we're going to look at today. So we're going to try and solve a text, an email that's not very well written. The meaning is clear, but everything else, there's just too many things wrong with it. So we are going to try and solve the problem. As for the lesson, guys, as always, please make sure you subscribe if you're new and like the video as well. You can always click on the links below to follow us on social media, as well as clicking on that link to the website that can take you to our website, where you can find out how you can have physical live lessons. So we can begin, really. We don't need to wait the full 5 minutes. I should have filled this up with water before I started. So let's get into today's lesson. So we're just going to, I'm just going to show you what we're looking at here today. I'm going to break this up into a few different things because it's too big to share in the live chat straight away in one go. Alida, buenos dias. Good afternoon, Richard. And good afternoon and good morning. Buenos dias from where you are in the world. Okay, so we are going to look at the following. We need to remember that this is going to be an email. And today we're going to focus on developing our writing skills by correcting writing. So we're going to have to apply some of the things that we looked at yesterday. As always, if I speak too quickly, not clearly enough, please just let me know in the live chat section. So, dear Professor Bevan, well, that's going to be the way we're going to start. Let's look at the next bit. I'm going to show the whole email first, and then we will begin the process of breaking it down and seeing if we can solve the problem. Well, not the problem, the problems, because there are quite a few problems with this email. There are a lot of things that at first might seem okay, we can maybe understand it, but as always, the question is, what are they saying? Ah, I see. That's what I got wrong. Wait a minute. Let me try that again. Maybe I got, yeah, okay. That probably makes a bit more sense to do it like that. Unfortunately, you can't post too much in the live chat section in any one go. And then we will look at it bit by bit as well, just to make sure we stay on top of things. Okay, so I'll read the whole thing first, and then we will start to pull this apart. And the tasks for today will be error correction. So I'll read it first, and then I'm going to ask you some questions to see how much you guys can probably understand in terms of what this person is trying to say. So it says, Dear Professor Bevan, I am writing to you because I want to ask about the essay we are writing this week. The title is Will the Travel Industry Recover After COVID-19? But I have some few questions. How many words do you want us to write, and how much time do we have? You showed us chart and data that we use, but do we use all the data? If we don't finish in time, would you give us more? Is it okay to start my essay by saying, if we known the coronavirus was hitting, we would have do something different and get different safety policy? I finish asking if the essay be typed or do I have to write it? Kind regards. Okay, so that's the badly written essay. Now, let's just see how much you guys can understand from this badly written essay. Let's start off by asking ourselves, what is this person trying to, what type of email, what is this email to begin with? What type of email is this? So is it a informal invitation? Is it B, formal invitation? Is it C, formal or is it informal inquiry, or is it D, informal inquiry? Okay, just to tell you guys, inquiry. When we use this, it's basically simple English. It's asking. You're looking for information. So which one do you think this is meant to be? The important things we need to remember is he's writing to a professor, and he's writing to when he finishes with kind regards. So that should already tell you if it's formal or informal. A leader thinks it should be a form. This person is trying to write a formal um, uh, email of inquiry. Irina and Sergio think it's D. Well, guys, you all right with one thing. This is a letter of inquiry. He or she, whoever this person is is looking for answers. The only thing is, this is to a professor. So the person has written it, we can see, maybe not in the most formal language, but it should be formal. So the answer to this one is C. It should be formal inquiry. The person's written it closer to an informal inquiry, but it should be a formal inquiry when you're writing to someone like your professor. Now, let's look at the next thing. And this is meaning that we just need to make sure. A, or B, so it's that his professor has written and he has to talk about it. All of you are going for A, and yes, A is the correct answer. Okay, now let's begin the difficult task, trying to see what the person is saying. So for this, we're going to break it down. So let's look at the first sentence, because I'm going to demonstrate to you what you need to do. So I'm going to demonstrate it with the first sentence, and then you guys can go from there. So first of all, it says, I'm writing to you because I want to ask about the essay we are writing this week. Now, the thing about this is that the meaning is clear. He's saying, or he or she is saying what this email is about, but this person has used more words than necessary. It's overly complicated in the amount of words, yet the language this person is using is very simple language. So we need to try and write this better. So you would then write your own version and try to correct it. So the way I would rewrite this would be, I would like to ask you some questions about the essay we. I would like to ask you some questions about the essay we have been assigned. Assigned is a very good word. This would be that we have been given, okay, or tasked with. You've got a few ways, a few synonyms to this. And it's always a good idea to also introduce by just saying, I hope this email finds you well. You can go with that. Hope this email finds you well. You can always go with the question mark if you want to. But this is how I personally would rewrite the opening of this email. I would say, I hope this email finds you well. I would like to ask you some questions about the essay we have been assigned. Full stop. What you will see there is that I've got straight in to the whole point of this essay. I've actually summarized the whole paragraph in one sentence, this opening little thing. But that is the task. That is what you guys need to try and do. So with that, let's see how you guys do. This time I'm going to copy the whole thing in. So I want you guys now to try and rewrite this opening sentence or these opening two sentences. See if you can shorten it. If you can do it in one sentence, great. That's fine. But let's see what you guys do, because that will also tell me your strengths, your weaknesses, your level, and we can adapt it accordingly. So here we go. This is the whole thing. Have a go at trying to rewrite this in your own words. and we can see. So if you want, you can borrow from what I've written above. And then if you want to add the topic, the title of the essay, you can do. So have a go. Try and rewrite this in your own words. Like I said, you can borrow from what I've used because this is the first activity. So we're going to start off a little bit easier and then work our way up. What you will see here is the type of grammar I've gone for. I hope this email finds you well. Okay, that's just being polite. What have I gone in with? I've gone in with polite language with would. It's a request. I would like to ask you some questions about the essay we have been assigned. What did I do? I went in with your standard basic present simple of request with would like, and I finished off with a passive present perfect. You don't need to, but it makes it a little bit easier to say less. So have a go. If you want to borrow from what I've written, you can do. The other thing as well is this isn't complete necessarily with what I've written. If you want to add in the essay, you could always add this in. Like, I have some questions about the essay or that we've been assigned, titled "Will the travel industry recover after COVID-19?" So you can include that as well, but effectively it's summarizing. As you can see, we can take two sentences which are quite long and we can reduce it, shorten it into one sentence. The trick is start off easy, past simple, then maybe up it a little bit, like yesterday. Throw in a present perfect, for example. So Leondina and Alida have been quick here. Let's see. So regarding the essay we have been assigned this week, I would like to ask you some questions. That's really good. That's a good sentence. Is there anything that strikes me? I like the fact you used a comma after week, Leondina. That's really good. So excellent. Good start. All I would say is don't forget the capital R at the beginning with regarding. But I mean, really and truly, excellent. Good stuff. And you've used my answer as like I can see as like a little foundation, but you've reworded it. That's good. Shows good paraphrasing skills. Alida says, I would appreciate if you could send me further information about the essay we have been assigned this week. That's good. That's really good variation. Another way of doing it. Sergio says, I still can't do this. Not to worry, Sergio. There's a way we can break this down. And the way to do it is thinking about keeping it simple. What you want to do is, Sergio, always start off nice and easy, okay? Go in with your present simple, okay? Such as, I have some questions about the essay, okay? Now, let's say you can't go with a present perfect passive. Not to worry. You can make this even simpler. You can still say, I have some questions about the essay we have that we have to complete, that we have to do this weekend, for example. Okay, that's the same thing. It's simpler, but it's still better than the original. So what have you gone with here? You've gone with a present simple plus present simple. That's all. You don't need to make it more complicated. You really don't. It's about being as clear as possible. So Leondina and Alida, they've mixed a few things together here. They've gone for different types of language. They've gone for a present perfect passive. and they've gone for a request in the present simple, such as Leondina. Alida's gone for something that is a little bit harder in the sense that she's thrown in a conditional, if you could. It's as a request, but if you could send me further information about the essay, we have been assigned. So there's an element of the if clause and the present perfect passive. Now, I don't expect everybody to know how to write a present perfect passive. There's going to be something for everybody at this level. But the way I would like you to think about it is make sure you get the basics right. If you don't know how to write something, don't worry. Keep it simple. The question is, as long as the English is still good. So I'm going to give you an example for the next one as well. So no one gets lost. Now, I'm going to give you my answer for the next one as well. I'm going to give you two answers in the sense of two ways you can think about doing it. And then you guys can try and come up with your own sentences. So in the next bit, he asks, how many words do you want us to write and how much time do we have? The thing about this is his first question. So he probably needs to put something like, first of all, can I ask what the word count is and the amount of time we have been allocated? Now, this is option one. This is option one because you're using effectively a present. Again, you're going with a present simple plus a present perfect passive. Okay. Now, if you want to go with something a little bit easier, you can also go with first, you could go with, first of all, again, you can start off a little bit similar. Can I ask, what was the question? Yes. Can I ask what the word count is? What the word count is, as well as the amount of time we have. Okay, now what's different about this one? This one, I've just gone for present simple plus as well as plus present simple. Okay, so your turn, guys. Can you ask the first question? Can you ask the first question? You can, if you know other ways of going about ordering your questions, because there's more than one way. You don't have to do first of all, but that's a good idea. If you want to go for something a little bit more complicated, you can go for present simple plus present perfect passive. If you want to go for something a bit easier, don't worry. Just stick to the present simple. All you need to do is just think about your linking words, as well as, and, for example. You need those to link a present simple and a present simple together. So have a go, see if you can do it. Again, you don't need to make this really difficult. You can make it as complicated or as easy as you like. The point is, as long as our English is still good and better than the original. To say how many words do you want us to write and how much time do we have, in terms of the English being used, there's nothing that's actually too wrong with it. It's just not good English in terms of the way it's being presented. It's too long. There's too much of this. How many words do you want us to write and how much time do we have? It's very simple, but it doesn't read well. It's too direct. So you should always put first of all, second of all, third of all. And it doesn't flow as nicely off the tongue. So you've got these two options here. See if you can create your own way to ask this one. So I've gone with, first of all, can I ask what the word count is and the amount of time we have been allocated? Allocated is another word to simply say time given. Now, to go for something a bit easier, you could go with, first of all, can I ask what the word count is as well as the amount of time we have? Now, there are other ways of going about this, so feel free. You don't have to go with the modal verb can, for example. There's other ways of asking your professor, for example, a simple question such as, how many words do you need to write? You can make this as complicated or as easy as possible. Let's see what you guys come up with. If you guys can't come up with anything, don't worry. Just let me know in the live chat section. It's quite possible that I've given you two answers and you think to yourself, I don't know if I can write anything different. So I'm aware that might be the case. Just let me know in the live chat section. And then in the next one, I'm going to take a step back. I'm not going to give you my answers, but I'm going to give you some structures to think about for the next one as we work our way up the difficulty ladder, while still giving you enough information to hold on to. Alida says, in the first place, how many words should we write and which is the date line assigned? Okay, okay. While the others are writing, I'll tell you what my thoughts on that. In the first place, it's quite strong language. It's the type of language we might choose to use if we're going to complain. I think a better way of doing it would be that's one option. That's a better option. It's shorter. Okay. I'll get to that actually. Sergio, you asked a question. I was going to come to that in the leaders thing. So, how many words should we write and which is the deadline assigned? Okay, first of all, we're going about when do we need to finish this by? This cannot be used with which, we need to use when. So we'd have to say when is, we've got a few ways of writing this. When is the deadline? Rather than dateline, I would suggest going with deadline. When is the deadline? When is it due for? That's actually a better. So I would say, Alida, those are the two best options to finish your sentence. I would go with when is the deadline or when is it due for. So Sergio, your idea of deadline, yes, a deadline would be the better option. Okay, guys. So as we can see, trying to correct another person's work is difficult because we're trying to think of how we would write it. So let's move on to the next one. And this time, I'm not going to give you my answer, but I'm going to give you some good tips. Let me just remind, where did I get to? Let's go all the way back to the beginning. So, come on. There we go. Okay, we're now looking at the next bit here. You showed us chart and data with that we use, but do we use all the data? If we don't finish in time, should be on time. Would you give us more? Okay, how to go about this? I'm not going to give you my answer, but I'm going to tell you how you can think about doing this. Okay, definitely go with a nice present simple. So start off with present simple, plus present simple, plus. Okay, here we go. So this is what I'm going to do just to help you guys out a little bit here. Okay, because you can reduce this into one sentence. Follow this structure. Think of the first two bits as present simple plus present simple, and then the final bit as well as can we get a time extension. So you're going to end your sentence with can we get a time extension, which means can we get more time. And this is what you need to do. So keep it simple here. You're going to take these two sentences and put it into one sentence. Okay, so really important. Let's see how you guys get on with this. And try to follow that. I think I need a bit more light, actually. But I don't think this light is particularly good. So that doesn't really work. Maybe I just need to get closer. Is the last one in informal form? All of them should be formal. All of them should be formal, Sergio. You don't want to write any contracted sentences. Everything needs to be as formal as possible. I mean, what I've shown you here, the guy kind of wrote it in a formal way, but it's just not. It's not great English. He's missing out an article here and there. Like you showed us a chart. So don't forget about if you're going to say a chart, it's one chart. So you do need a chart. So let's see how you guys get on with this one. Let's see how you guys do. I mean, it's this sort of work is generally quite difficult to do, but it's really good exercise for your mind because you have to think in English. You can't translate it. It's very difficult if you're trying to translate it back into your first language. It will be really difficult to do. So keep it simple, stick to the basics, and it will be much, much better. Present simple plus present simple. You can do the first bit in just a present simple plus a present simple form, and just then finish off by linking everything together with as well as can we get a time extension. So yes, so a chart was, now you don't need to, I didn't tell you whether you need to write it in an active or passive way. So if you want to write it in an active or you want to write it in a passive, that's fine, but you've got to keep it simple. Just present simple, present simple, plus the ending that I've shown you here. Let's see what you guys write. I mean, look, you could go for something. I'm not going to write it, but in case you're not too sure, you can go for something like, I remember you showed us a chart and data that we need to use, but do we also have to use? But do we have to use all of it? for example, as well as. I mean, yes, I mean, this is something you could do. Do we have to use all of the data? So you showed us a chart and data, but do we have to use all the data, as well as can we get time? Can we get a time extension? So you can really reduce everything into one sentence. Let's see if you guys can complete it, and then we'll move on to the last bit. Um, I don't know if we're quite down to the last bit yet, actually. Yeah, yeah, we'll then be moving on to the last bit just before the end. There we can see if we can really further reduce the language. I mean, look, there is an exercise in the level test which is a little bit similar to this, and that can be a little bit difficult. So Alida has written, I remember you showed us. Okay, yeah. Um, Actually, to be honest with you, you are right to use a past simple there. Um, I went for present simple, but when I think about it, maybe I gave you the wrong information. Maybe a past simple would have been better. Hmm. No, you're right. Actually, maybe I made it extra. Maybe I made it a bit difficult by asking you to write it in the present. Yeah, past simple first. That would work. So I remember you showed us a chart and the data that we have to use. But do we have to use all the data, as well as can we get a time extension? Yeah, I think that works really well, Alida. You're right to go in with a past simple to begin with. I think I probably made it a little bit too difficult by asking you guys to write it in the present, in a present simple. I don't think that was fair on me, to be honest. Past simple makes it a little bit makes more sense, and definitely makes the task more achievable. So I remember you showed us a chart. So yes, you've got the article in there and the data that we have to use. Now you linked it nicely that we have to use. But do we have to use all the data? So I like the fact that you mix a past simple and then present simple. It's not something we often do usually, but there are occasions when we do need to use it. It says, could you explain if we have to use all the data given us, as well as we can have a time extension? You are really close, Leondina. You are really close to getting this one right. Let me help you out here. Could you? I would always say use the word kindly. I'm just going to throw that in. It's very polite to use. Can you kindly explain if we have to use all the data, all to all the data given? Now you don't need us, because it's automatically, because you're using the passive. You're using the passive because the passive is explaining that the data was given to you. You don't need us actually with this. So could you kindly explain if we have to use all the data? And don't forget, you've got the pronoun we at the start, as well as as well as um now the way, because we've used a conditional, and because the way we've gone to structure this, we just have to change the end bit just for consistency purposes. I'd be tempted to go in with another if, just link it with an if, or something similar to an if, which could be, so could you kindly explain if we have to use all the data given, as well as whether we can have a time extension. Now, this this weather, really important. Um, I would say, as well as whether. Whether takes on the role as if, but sometimes we don't want to use if. We don't always need to use if. And if it's in a sequence like this, a question with an if, we can go with whether. And as well as whether go together very nicely. It's an alternative to if. So I recommend going with weather sometimes. But then, yeah, then you've got a really good sentence. So well done there, Leondina. We're now entering the final stage of the lesson. So let's look at the last bit. This one's going to be a bit difficult. So is it okay to start my essay by saying, I'm going to tell you exactly what we need here, okay? He's asking, is it okay to start my essay by saying, this can be simplified by, can we start the sentence? Can we start our essay actually? Can we start our essay with plus, with comma, don't forget the apostrophe. Now, this is what I'm going for, though, guys. They're conditional. Try and go with the third conditional here. Okay, to solve this one. Is it okay? So we can say, can we start our essay with third conditional, and then don't forget your question mark at the end. Okay. So in order to complete this one, you've got the beginning, because I've done that for you. Can we start our essay with then third conditional? Don't forget, third conditional. You're going to have if plus past perfect plus would plus present perfect. That's how you make it. We looked at it the other day. Sergio, I don't know if you were here for that lesson. I can't remember. But don't worry if you find this one a little bit too difficult, because I can't remember if you were there. So I don't expect everybody to be able to do this one, but those of you who were here for that lesson on third conditionals, this is a good opportunity to do it. I think I need to get another light. The light is a bit inconsistent. I can see everything going dark, then light, which isn't great for you guys. But yeah, have a little go at trying to finish this one. You just need to, I mean, most of it is there. It's just some things have just gone wrong. Like if we known, it's just not there. No problem. I'm leaving, and as soon as I can. Okay, Sergio, not to worry. But Sergio, thank you very much, nonetheless, for joining the lesson today, and thank you for your participation and contribution. So thank you very much. Hopefully, see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is music English, and we're going to look at prepositions. So thank you very much for your contribution today. So guys, yeah, this one here, if we known the, yeah, something wrong here. If we had, this is it. He's got the past participle, but we need something before it. Oh, no, thank you. Thank you, Sergio. Thank you. So Alida said, can we start our essay with, if we had known? Yes, that is exactly it, Alida. If we had known the coronavirus was hitting, we would have done something different. Really close. We just need was going to hit. And that's the main thing, was going to hit. Was going to affect us. This is a little cheeky one here, but to complete it, we need to throw in this little past continuous little element here. Now, I didn't put that in. I wanted to see if anyone would identify it, but that is something that we can do. Thank you very much, Arena F, for joining us. Much appreciated as always. And thank you for your participation in today's lesson. There are other ways of doing it, because we could say, if we had known about the coronavirus from the start, and then the rest of it. So if you didn't want to, if you just wanted to stick to the classic third conditional with the past perfect, I would have just gone with if we had known about the coronavirus from the start. It's a little bit easier. Hit is a strange one. It throws us off a little bit, which is why I threw it in there. That was naughty from me, to be honest. To be honest, I was writing the same as Alida. Well, look, what if you've written what Alida's written? That's a good 9 out of 10. That's a good 9 out of 10. It's not an easy one to do, which is why I threw it in there, just for the end. But look, if you've written what Alida's done, then look, I'm giving you 9 out of 10 because if you can do, if you get up to that, that's really good because it's difficult. 10 out of 10 would be if you found a way around it. But I'll just tell you a little bit about this. Okay, so if you go with present, let's say past perfect plus past continuous, you can do this. Plus would plus present perfect, just to show you how this works. So if we had known that whatever x is was going to happen, we or would we have done something different? Okay, this is, and the thing is here is the choice of verb. When we put in the present, the past perfect, and we want to use another verb, we need to be really careful. It's better to end it without a verb if you just want to leave it as a past perfect. But if you're going to add another verb, think of the structure of adding a past continuous. It makes it a little bit easier to complete. If we had known that the virus was going to hit, because I want to use the word hit, I now need to put in a past continuous. If I don't want to put a verb in, I can just leave it as if we had known that the coronavirus, if we had known about the coronavirus from the start, that way it's easier to do. But as soon as we start thinking of verbs, we then need to think, especially words like hit, go, those sort of ones, then we need to think about, maybe we need to throw in a past continuous afterwards. It's complicated, but look, you guys did really well today. So to everyone who was watching today, thank you so much for joining. As always, we started a little bit easier and we gradually made things more difficult as we went along. Don't worry if you can't follow everything. It's not going to happen every time. But tomorrow is Music English. We're going to look at prepositions. There's something for everyone, whether you're elementary or advanced. There will be something for everybody tomorrow. If you've enjoyed the lesson, make sure you like and subscribe if you're new, and share the channel and the video as well. Leondina, Alida, Sergio, Arena F, thank you for your contribution, your participation in today's lesson. Really well done. And see you guys tomorrow. Take care. And yeah, bye for now. Thank you so much.